Welcome everyone to another installment of MSP webinars. Today we have Arnaud from ScanCircle, and I hope I didn't mess that up, Arnaud.
It was exactly as I like it to be. Thanks.
Excellent, excellent. So Arnaud is going to talk to us about ScanCircle and how it can be just another neat tool to have in your toolbox. And instead of it being a service tool, it's a marketing tool. Arnaud has studied electrotechnics at the Rotterdam University of Applied Sciences. He invented the ScanCircle concept back in 2005, and he's been working full time on it since 2009. So he's passionate about this, and you can really tell that when you see the tool and when you see him speak about it. So with that, I just want to say thank you everyone for taking time to attend this live or watch this on YouTube later on down the road. And I'm just going to pass it over to Arnaud and take it away, my friend.
All right. Thanks very much for the introduction, Steve. That was basically the introduction that I had in mind myself. Let me rephrase. My name is Arnaud Klaren. I'm the founder and owner of ScanCircle. I started it in 2005, the concept, and then from 2009 I've been working on it for full time. And I'm pretty passionate about it. I believe it has huge potential. I live in Rotterdam, the Netherlands, and as you can probably see on the website, most of my partners are in the Netherlands as well. And we're gradually expanding over the rest of the world, especially in the United Kingdom, in the United States, and in Canada as well, and even in Australia and some faraway countries. What I'd like to do is tell you a bit about the technical possibilities of ScanCircle. As Steve said, it's a technical tool, but it can be used commercially as well. So let me show you. Let's see if I can share my screen here. That's it. Let me show you what ScanCircle is and how you can use it. If you go to scancircle.com, it will guide you based on your the selected your preferred language. It will show you the web page. This moment we're supporting Dutch, Netherlands, and English, but we are working on internationalization, so it can be translated by the community through any language, basically. As you can see here, the scan is it's an automatic scan which runs from the website. There's no installation or whatever, and it scans system, security, hardware, software, and processes, and all that is done on average in 11.1 seconds. Can be a little bit more, a little bit less. So it's very, very fast, and it is intended to give you a very quick overview of what the status of the computer is. What I'd like to do is, as I said, you can start it. Whoops. Here's the from your browser. This is Internet Explorer. In Internet Explorer, it works in the in a pretty simple way that it's only if you launch it, it only asks you. Sorry for the Dutch here, but it says here, do you want to run this this application? So that's only a single time that it's asked that. There's a bit of a nuisance that since the Windows 10 creators upgrade, there's an extra field. Again, for me, it's in Dutch, but it will be in your normal language, which complains that it's not loaded, it's not installed from the Windows Store. There is no installation, it's just an executable. So you want to say here, install anyway. It's a bit of a nuisance. This is the scan itself. And as I said, it runs very quickly. Normally, there's a demonstration. So what happens here? Nah, this always happens, you know. What? The firewall. Let me try this again. Really? Okay. Must have been some glitch. So it said what it does, it gathers the information of the computer, then it tries to upload that to the ScanCircle web server. If that fails for whatever reason, and this is truly the first time that this happens here on my machine, it says, hey, I can't upload it. Do you want to try it again? In worst case, you can even say, I want to upload it manually. I'll maybe show that later as well.
So if it's all right with you, Arnaud, I'd like to share my screen and just kind of, because I might have run this once before, but I just kind of want to take people through their perspective of an idiot. Not that I'm an idiot. I just play one on TV. So here I am at the ScanCircle website, and hopefully everything will now be in English. So I'm going to hit direct scan. And because I'm using a weird web browser, it's going to download a file.
Yeah, all the other browsers other than Internet Explorer and Edge will download the file and then ask you to run it.
No problem. So I just double click the file and now it's running.
Where did that go? Oh, there's it.
I closed my little downloads bar.
Right.
And then I forgot that would make ScanCircle go away.
No problem. So what it does, it gathers the information, uploads it to the server, and then opens a new tab in your default browser, showing the results.
So now this is where you say, you know, golly, Steve, if you had our managed services, then this wouldn't be a problem. So I want to see what my problem is. Good old Java.
Right.
That
happens frequently that the Java update scheduler is removed, the process itself, but the registry entry is still there. So basically that means when you start up your computer, it tries to run it, but it can't find it. So it will slow down your computer a little. Yeah.
And then I see here 31 application updates. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Like a third of them are Adobe.
I normally say, well, if it ain't broken, don't fix it. So there's a huge number of updates that there are here. If you don't have any problems, or if you're not interested in the latest version, then there's no use of installing all of them, because it'll take you lots of time, and tomorrow there will be more updates anyway. So what's interesting to see is the colors that we're using. So there's the you only have one orange, blue, and the green one. You don't have any reds. Reds will be the critical items, and that will be really things that you need to pick up. The orange are the recommended items, and you normally would want to solve this, like the missing executable that you've got over here. Yeah. But your computer looks pretty good, Steve. I didn't expect anything else, of course. From
I
you?
feel like a 5.9 is a terrible score between you and I. But I think it's
Yeah.
because of this
Well,
missing
what you can do if you say I don't really care about this one, right? You can say ignore this advice. You can say why you want to ignore it. This will be forwarded
Look,
to our
guys, now I have an
website.
8.8.
Congratulations.
So, what I would I've got questions, but that can come later on out.
Yeah, sure. Okay. What I would want to do is, well, because your computer and my computer look pretty good, I would like to show the demo scan, which
Sure.
is really a total disaster. It contains all sorts of problems. So can I share my screen again?
Share away, my friend.
All right. Let's see. That's probably so. On the website, on the general website, anybody can access that. There's the example scan, and this one scores a 3, so it has all the possible, well, nearly all the possible problems that you can encounter. As you can see, there's a score. There's a checklist with the different colors. There's a legend here specifying what the different colors mean. There's a summary saying what you need to do, basically. And this is the general environment. And here we show the country map based on your IP address. This demo is using a dummy IP address, so it shows the whole of the world. But as you can see, with my scan, it showed the Rotterdam area, and Steve showed, what was it, your area, Steve? So it, based on that IP address, it shows the general location, but you can specify, for example, like I'm in Amsterdam. Oops, sorry about that. And in that case, it'll show you what computer support, what ScanCircle partners are near your location in Amsterdam. Oops. And you can even, if they have a shop, the green ones mean it's an area, it's a support area. So the company will come and visit your location to help you. And the red pins mean it's a shop or workshop. You can go to their website or even get directions how to get there. This is basically the landing page for people that just want to check their computer and don't know how to solve their problems. The next tab, advice, is actually where most of the interesting information is shown. All these items here, so about the system, the operating system, security, disks, drives, and network. You can click on all of these items. I'm not going to do that here because otherwise it would take much too long. I want to show a few things, like here on the BIOS, there's an update, the A09, there's an update to A11. There are sometimes links provided. We don't do updates automatically. It's purely a diagnosis. And the updates are there for the experts or the end users with a lot of trust and technical knowledge to do themselves. But here's a nice one. It also allows you to go to the manufacturer's product page. In this case, it's a Dell computer, and based on the Dell service tag, it can take you directly to the download section, and you can specify here that you want to see the updates. And like here, there's the BIOS directly available. So that's a useful feature. Another one which I'd like to show is the internal memory. It says here there's a out of the 2 gigabytes, there's only 60 megabytes, so 3% available. If you click on it, you get some more details. It shows also how many memory slots there are. And there's 2 and only 1 is used. So the simplest solution for this one would be to install an extra 2 gigabytes in the other slot, and the computer will run a lot faster than this. So, and it even specifies product numbers and for the memory that you need. For the rest, there's an awful lot of checks which you would normally could do manually, but it does this all in 10-15 seconds. So why not use it? For the security part, there's like missing security products, not active or not up to date products, or even multiple products active at the same time, which can be a pain and can be conflicting as well. The Windows update, etc. There's all sorts of details. The smart status of drives, of the disks, and the drives. There's a difference between the primary drive, like this one has 4%, but it's the primary hard disk. So you want to have at least 10 or preferably 20%. The next one is only a data drive, so it only has 2%, but that's okay. This is the technical overview. Down here, you'll see that the critical items and recommended items have been not expanded. That's it. Thanks, Steve. That was the word. Those are by default expanded. The optional and informative items you can expand manually, or you can say I want to expand all or collapse all. So apart from the antivirus missing and the memory and disk space being low, there's some more information about malicious software, malicious processes, where ScanCircle is not intended to be an anti-malware product. Based on the feedback that we get, if multiple people specify this or mark this as being malware, it will end up eventually on the list, and we can show malware like we do over here. If we're not sure that it's really malware, it can be suspicious software or suspicious processes. And one other thing that I'd like to show here is the hardware errors, where the Ethernet controller is installed, but there's no driver loaded for it. There's a neat feature that will take the hardware IDs and check it against the database. And then based on this, it'll find out that this is an Atheros Ethernet controller. So it will be a lot easier for you to install any missing drivers for this. That's basically the technical point here. There's a list of installed hardware, installed software, and installed processes, which you can see, of course, in various parts of the computer itself, but it's all here conveniently together. And you can show all this in a report for yourself or for your customer, including the technical details, the checklist, and the advices. But what's much better is if you do a scan at the beginning, then solve all the problems and do another scan, which will show here that this demo computer has been scanned twice. And the first one, it was a total disaster with a score of only 3. And after about an hour, you fixed everything and you ended up with a 9.1 score. If you want, you can even say, I want to show all the differences, and it will show here everything you've changed or removed or upgraded, the extra memory, etc. You can print that and together with the computer return it to the customer, and they can actually see what's been improved in the computer and what you've done for their money. Then finally, there's an option to register a computer. The scans are all anonymous. If you want, you can register the computer, which means that you'll periodically, and by default that's monthly, you will receive a report stating what what has been changed for the items on your computer. So new versions, mostly like updates, etc. You can also get warnings if we have something that we've not identified before, and we can't give an advice on it, but later on it turns out that it's malware. We will report that if you got the computer registered. Like we did this week with the CCleaner backdoor, which was identified. So based on that information in the database, we specified that the 5.33 version was suspicious. We added the link to the Piriform report, what they reported themselves about the problems and how you could solve it. So everybody that had their computer registered had received and had that version installed has received this warning. And anybody that does a scan now and has the software installed will also see the advice that it's better to update your version and to do a thorough scan of your computer. This is basically the information that anybody can use, end users, or consumers, or even businesses. As I said, it's anonymous, so we can't really track anyway who's doing what. There are some requests from partners to limit the number of scans that people can do. So rather than them doing scan after scan and try and fix them problems themselves, they will at some stage, like after 3 scans a day or something like that, they will be notified and say, well, you've done this many scans, you probably need help, you can get your support here. So this brings me to the option of our partner program in ScanCircle. You can find that on the main page at the right hand bottom. There's the partner program, and I will show you what the partner program looks like. So this is a demo partner, and as a partner you will get the option to get your own logo on this environment instead of the Windows, the Google Map with the other partners and the ESET advertising. You can specify your own advertising, and you can even specify that based on the scan results. I'll show you a little later how that works. Every scan that's done in your partner environment, you will be notified about that. And if they click one of these ads, you will also be notified that this person, albeit still anonymous, has done this scan, and you can see the results exactly. You get the URL to the scan, and it's likely for them, if they're looking for support, that they contact you, and you can instantly help them in look at the scan and see what it will take to solve the problems on this computer. So to define or to show how this works in your partner environment. So that's the subdomain is your partner code. You can log in. The demo doesn't have a password, so it logs in automatically. You can specify your company details here. You can specify your logo, contact person, and your business address and invoicing information. You can upgrade online. I'll tell you shortly about the ways to do that. And the configuration starts here. That's the basic settings. As I said, you can be notified about scans and referrals when people click on an advertisement. You can specify your email address here where you want to get the information. We also have interfaces to PC Repair Tracker and Repair Shopper. And you can basically also define your own web-based interface to receive the information. I'll show that a little later as well. There's the option of specifying the support page. You can use parameters here, which will contain the default language selected, the advice, so the URL of the scan results, and optionally a reference code that can be entered in partner environments. And if people down here ask for support, or they click an advertisement that hasn't got a specific link, then they will be forwarded to your support page. And last but not least, here in the settings, there's the your own scan page. As Steve has indicated, you can use this service on your own website. There's a very simple wizard to configure the HTML or even a short code, which you need to embed on your website, and then you can provide the service from your own website. Before I get into that, there's also the support that you can give to users in the main environment. As you've seen, the Google map, you can specify locations there, and you can specify whether you want to use remote assistant, phone, email, or chat support. And there's some room for specifying expertise and optionally a link to a company review. And basically, locations is where you define your shops and your working areas. You can specify multiple shops, multiple working areas. If I would want to remove this, I'll show how it works. By default, it takes the address that you've entered as your business address. But if you specify here that, for example, you're in New York, you can specify the exact address. If this is your shop, then you can also specify, for example, if you say I do support in Long Island, then you can draw some circles here and make up the area that you're willing to support. You can also make one big circle, but it's usually more convenient and more accurate to have smaller circles. So this will end up, I can't save it here. This is the demo environment, which you can't make any changes to. But this is what you would do in your own environment. The next, by the way, it also shows what the area of these circles are. They're currently in metric system kilometers, but I've made a note for myself to change that to also support miles as well. Now, if you want to define your own advertisements, let's leave this. Then little for the demo scan, you could see this one. The advertisement, as I said, can be dependent on the scan's results. You can specify, if I want to edit this, you can specify that it's a center ad, specify where the image is. Let's move this away. You can give it a name, you can specify priority, in which order you need to show it. That's the image, and you can specify a percentage of how big you want it to be. It can be a larger percentage, but it can also be something like you specify 25%, for example. There's some smaller ads here, this one. This is only 25%, which means that there can be 4 of these images next to or below each other. This would be a sidebar ad. You can specify the link that you want to chase once they click on it with the parameters again. And here you can define what the under which condition you want to show that image, whether the name contains a specific word, or maybe it doesn't contain. So if you want to say anybody that doesn't have anything with other task, you can show a specific image there, an advertisement or a banner, whatever you want to call it, and suggest them to move to your MSP solution. Well, you can see over here, there's lots of options that you can add, and it basically, this is real, how can I say it? This is the marketing part of ScanCircle, so to say.
So if I'm understanding this correctly, excuse me, we can add our own advertisements. So it would be a picture that links them to something.
Absolutely, yeah.
And we can then say they will see this ad based on certain conditions.
That's it. And the conditions can either be that there's a specific name, or that there's a specific advice, or the advice is missing. If the minimum score reach is not above a 6, then you can, or a 5 or whatever. And there's the reference code, which I'm about to explain more about as well.
Okay.
Right. There's one more script. If there's any questions, I'll address them later. That's probably the easiest. Then there's also, you can specify a script for your partner environment. As you can see here, down here, you get the chat widget, which is actually on the partner pages. It's the ScanCircle script that's run. So if a partner needs support and we're online, this moment you can email, but if it's not on, if it's online, you can chat. Oh, what's this? Okay, let's remove this. But like here, you can specify your own, basically your script, and most people use it either for a chat widget or for social media buttons. You can show the scans that have been done in your partner environment. You can show a video of this specific tab, which I'll briefly show. So it just shows it gives you some more information hands-on about this setting. You can see what the demo partner settings are, so you can see some examples. You can go to the demo website to see how it can be used. And there's a partner forum where the different possibilities of ScanCircle are explained, and where partners can vote on topics on the roadmap and make suggestions for further improvements. Now, the real interesting part is this one. This is the scan widget. This area here is the scan widget. And by default, if you include these 4 lines of HTML code on your web page, it'll show you this. It'll show this scan widget, and people can run the scan. If you have a WordPress or a Joomla website and use our plugins, then you can even make it even simpler and just specify this shortcode. There's a number of options here, which you don't get in the standard version. You can specify an input field here. So, for example, if you want to ask people to enter their email address, go away. I've added here as a label input field your email, and it'll show you here what the that they can enter their email address. You can specify here that you want it to be an email address. You can even indicate that you want it's required field. I would not recommend that really, because it might scare away people, and just providing this option will give them the option to enter it, and a lot of people will do that because it's on your website and they trust you, and new visitors may not enter it directly. In this case, the value entered here will be the reference code that will be sent to you in the notification. So if it's an email address, you can contact them, but you can also use it as a ticket number or anything else. And you can specify a URL parameter. For example, if you specify email here, then you can provide the link to your web page with a URL parameter email and pre-fill it for them. So this value will be automatically filled. There's lots of more options here, which I won't go into at this moment, unless there are questions. But what I would like to show is how that can be used in a PC repair tracker environment. I should actually show this one here before. So on this page, there's a PC repair tracker as a ScanCircle partner, and it has identified, or it has built this web page. And as you can see here, the PC ID is the URL parameter, and it can be specified. It can be sent to the customer. So if a customer fills in a new request, a new ticket, you assign a ticket number or a PC ID or anything like that, and send them an email and say, well, you can help us actually to help you solve the problem by running a scan using this link. And the information will then be, if I run this scan, like it's done over here, it'll show this to this is the PC repair tracker environment. It'll show this to your end user, but in addition, it has, right, let me see over here, because we used this one here, it has added this scan to, this scan here to the your PC repair tracker environment. It has pre-filled all the information well, I've done a scan previously here, so it was already filled in. CPU, RAM, drives, operating system, service type, BIOS, installation date, and computer name. And if you run multiple scans, and that's why I've done it here, it actually shows here in the notes section, it shows that the operating system has changed. I'm not sure why that was. Probably the newer version, no. And the RAM has changed from 8 gigabytes to 16 gigabytes. You can click on these links and it will automatically pop up the scan results. So this sort of gathers the ScanCircle information from the scan from the computer of your client into your PC repair tracker solution, and we have the same for Repair Shopper, where the it doesn't work on the PC ID but on a ticket number. And if you run the scan there, let me run the scan again. It'll show the results of the Repair Shopper environment. The Repair Shopper logo. They haven't specified in this environment, no commercial, no ads have been specified. So this is the default that you get. And if you click here, then it will take the user to the default support page. And in the, let me move this again. There's the ticket information. Let me reload that. And here you can see that we just did the scan here, still scores an 8.6. You can view the report, and it also shows here that the RAM has been upgraded from 8 gigabytes to 16 gigabytes. So this is quite convenient to move your information into your management system, which, well, we have default standard interfaces for PC Repair Tracker and Repair Shopper. But basically any interface that will accept a SOAP interface or a web posting interface can be supported. That's about it that I want to show. What are we on time?
I think we're doing good. We've got some.
We're doing good. That's great.
Questions. So, with that said, do you have any roadmap or anything for additional integrations like LabTech or Autotask or anything like that?
Not as yet on those interfaces. I have been thinking about Autotask, but Autotask has its own endpoint management system. So I'm not sure if that will really be an additional value. Having said that, there's also the option of just feeding the emails based on basis of the scan, feeding that into the Autotask system. Like Repair Shopper has a similar feature where you can just convert basically emails into tickets. I assume that Autotask will have something like that as well. Am I correct? Steve, I can't hear you.
Oops.
Yeah.
Yeah. Will it? If we wanted to run this on a regular basis for our clients as kind of a second opinion to our Autotask or LabTech or whatever RMM tool we're using, is that something that we can schedule without user interaction?
It is an option, and some of the partners indeed do that, but it requires, of course, your first. It's not at this moment. ScanCircle is not. It's not installed. It's a one-off process. You download it, you run it, and that's it. It doesn't leave any traces. It doesn't do any updates. You don't need system administrator rights. That's all for gaining trust and just gathering the information.
Is it something that we can like script a run of it?
Yeah, there's a number of partners that do that. They have the executable on in a safe place, and then just schedule with various tools. They can schedule a scan. Rudolf, as I said, was listening online. I know he has combined this. He has installed this, and he runs a scan, I believe, every week of all the computers that are on a maintenance contract.
Excellent.
Which is quite useful.
What about like unknown devices? If you run a scan in a computer and it sees unknown devices, will it tell us like what those devices are, or is this software just as clueless as Windows is?
You mean unknown devices as the way Windows reports it?
Yeah,
that's usually a device without a driver loaded.
Right.
Yeah. That's one of the features which are very convenient. Let me see here. Because of the we link it to the actually it's here in this checklist, because we link the scan results to the database. We can identify from the scan that the driver is missing, but in here we can check the hardware IDs against the devices in our database. So we can see which drivers are missing in there, which makes a lot easier than to manually do this all this. So the whole idea of ScanCircle is, I mean, it's not rocket science. It's the things that you would normally do, but you can't do that in 10, 15 seconds. So it's a convenient way. And what happens often is that customers will ask for your support, saying, well, there's something wrong with my printer or with my antivirus or whatever. And you fix that problem. I suggest always do a scan afterwards. And the scan will identify any other, I mean, the scan is only 10, 15 seconds. It will identify any other issues that you may want to get solved. And you can ask your customer, well, I can solve these for you. I can install the extra memory, or you need to clean up your hard disk or whatever. And that basically provides them with a better service than just fixing the one problem that they actually came for.
And then for the people that are scripting it, I believe that would be Rudolf. Is it running it like silently? Is it hiding the window that pops up?
Yeah, then there's an option. There's some command line parameters. They're all specified in the partner forum. And with the command line parameters, there's indeed there's an option. I'm not sure exactly what it's called, but sure. It won't show. It will just run in the background. It will send it will upload the information, but it won't show anything to the end user. It will only inform the partner.
So it would not show the scan interface, and it would not pop up the web page.
That's it.
Okay. And then I think that answers both of those questions. So why would we partner with you instead of just running the free one that's on your website?
Uh, that's a question I get a lot. Maybe I'm giving way too much in the free version, but no, the whole idea is that at this moment there's or next month there's the European Cybersecurity Month, which is for people to be aware of the problems that may arise from them using their computer. So the whole idea of giving it away is for people to run the scan if they just to get confirmation that their computer is correct or not. Last year or the year before, we did work together with a Dutch consumer organization, and they did an interview with some 500 people on what they thought their computer was, how well it was maintained and how secure it was. And 3 out of 4 people said, well, I've got it covered. My computer is pretty much okay. 3 out of 4. And then at the end of that questionnaire, there was the scan button, and they ran the scan, and it turned out that 2 out of the 3 computers actually had security problems. So the awareness of people is that, well, my computer is okay, but in fact, 2 out of 3, and that also, if you take the larger numbers in our scans, it shows that on average, 2 out of 3 computers has something wrong in the sense of security wise. So that's a long answer to your question. Basically, the idea is to generate the awareness. So if you would, as a partner, would have this on your own website, you can invite them to do the scan. You can also send a newsletter to your customer, or maybe you already have newsletters and you include it in your newsletter, and offer them a free annual checkup or summer checkup, or whatever you want to call it, like you do for your car. And well, of course, in your MSP environment, all computers should score, should get a high score. But for newer customers that are not yet under your MSP program, they can get some surprises, and that might persuade them to opt for your MSP version. So this can so the interaction with the end user can only be done from the partner using the partner program. Of course, you can use this as a technical tool for yourself. Because it's anonymous, we can't track it. But the whole idea is, if you profit from it, if you have, if you find it useful, the costs for the partner program, I've not mentioned that yet. Am I still sharing my screen? I believe I am.
You are, yes.
Okay. It's only $49.95 for 3 months, and there's a discount for 5% if you do it semi-yearly, which comes down to, I believe, $94.95 for a half year, or $179.95 for a year. That's in euros, by the way. I'm sorry. So converting the, let's say, the 180 euros per year into a dollars would be something like $215, I believe, for a year subscription.
I can tell you it's $59.60 for the 3 month. $214.56
Yeah.
for the 12 months.
Well, that basically means that if you charge, well, depending on the rate, of course, that you charge, but it's not a big deal. If you do this and you get some extra work, then well, maybe 2 hours, maybe 4 hours, you earn the subscription back. So it's the interaction basically with the end user that's the most beneficial for using the partner program. Let me see if there's anything else that I've missed.
So with that, let's see. So this is a report that we can get for each PC. Is there a way to like group it all into a single report? Like, let's say you run it for 8 PCs in an individual company. And if not today, then is it something that you could add in the future?
Yeah, that's also a question that has been asked before.
Okay.
So networking environment.
Because, I envision, you could even use this as an onboarding tool. Run it today when you onboard a new customer and run it again in 30 days. Here's how crappy your computers were running before, and here's how they're running now.
Exactly.
And I feel like, something like this, and not to say that an RMM tool report doesn't already exist to do this, but, some don't have good reports that can show people this. And I feel like this is solid information. So if I were to run a scan in my own ScanCircle, the other people like Rulof can't see my scans, right?
No, of course not. No.
Okay.
No, that's everybody has its own subdomain.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Let's see here. Company-wide group reporting would be huge. Someone here just ran it on his own system. It identified several driver updates and out-of-date third-party applications not covered by 9.8. So,
okay,
it's testimonial there that it helps us think outside the box for sure.
Yeah, to be honest, I would be. I would go easy on the driver updates. As I said, for the software updates, if it ain't broken, don't fix it. That's probably even more the case for driver updates. Updates. If it works, then and you have no problems, then I would just use the default driver. But if you don't have the correct driver and you're searching the whole web for the correct driver, then this could really be a huge time saver.
I agree. So there you have it, folks. It looks like we've answered all of the questions that our Now has for now. So for under $220 a year, you can have ScanCircle. You can put your logo on it. You can have reports that you can hand out to your clients, and you can even have a way to have it help you advertise your managed services platform by having it integrated into your own website. I feel like.
Yeah, well, I was thinking. Sorry to interrupt you. I was thinking on what you said about onboarding, because I think you should position ScanCircle in between of the break fix and the MSP, where the break fix is really computer gets you get a computer problem, client calls you, you solve it, and you go away again. And MSP is really on supporting the client, like maintaining their and monitoring their system. ScanCircle is somewhere in between, where it's not just the one-off. Your main repeat business is often on the work that the clients that you've done work before. So indeed, the option of using of sending an email or a mailing, a newsletter, or whatever, annually or whatever, is an option for the break fix construction. For MSPs, you really want them to get on board, and without installing anything, you can then identify the issues that there are on the computers, and maybe convince your client that they need to jump in on your MSP program.
Got it.
Yeah.
And Isaac just pointed out a good reason why people should buy ScanCircle instead of using the free one, because the license keys can only be retrieved and forwarded when you're using the licensed version, correct?
Yeah, that's right.
So,
I haven't mentioned that there's for partners, there's a so-called partner option, and even though we don't, it shows in the here. Let's see. Am I still? Yeah. In conditions that we don't retrieve any personal information, etc., except for in the so-called partner mode. That's a request of some of the partners. They said, can you collect the license information for us if we need to reinstall a computer? They're always missing. Now with Windows 10, or was it before Windows 10, Windows 8 maybe, the license keys for Windows are stored in the BIOS, I believe. So it's not much of a problem, but reinstalling software is always an issue. Mm-hmm. And in the partner, if you run a scan in partner mode, then the license keys will be transferred on the fly to the partner in the notification. They will not be stored anywhere by ScanCircle, and indeed you don't get that in the free version. The end user doesn't get to see it either.
And just to clarify, because someone said they don't do a lot of residential customers, and I don't see us directing individual business users to our website to run this. Mm-hmm. I would jump all over it with the ability to run it again against a group of work group or domain systems, especially with combined reporting. So to clarify, you can run this silently using a script. Yep. One of Arnaud's customers, Rulof, has already scripted it. So it's able to do that. It's just the combined reporting that does not exist today, and that I think with enough pushback, if we yell at Arnaud enough,
that's it. You can vote. You can vote on it. Yeah, that's it.
Vote on it. All right. Well, thank you so much, Arnaud. I feel like this is a fantastic product. How can people reach out to you if they're interested in learning a little more or getting signed up? Have a slide or something?
Yeah, that's a very good suggestion of you. Here's the information about ScanCircle. It's quite simple actually. Just the website. You can watch the partner videos on YouTube/ScanCircle, and anybody can start a 30-day free trial on using this link, which is basically the same option as I showed before. But on specific requests from Steve, I've added a promotional code, MSP Webinars 17, which means that anybody that registers with this reference code and upgrades before the 1st of November will get a €60 introduction discount. that's hopefully a way to persuade some more people to try it and to continue using it. But the free trial is free for anybody anyway. Here's the rest of my information. So you can try it out for 30 days for free. You don't need a credit card to register until the end of the 30 days, or you can say, well, that was fun. I'm not going to use it, and you can ignore the emails for upgrading, and things will be removed afterwards.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Arnaud. That is awesome.
Yeah, I've specified by Skype. I've specified that I'm GMT +2. So if anybody wants to Skype me, please be aware that there's a little time difference, especially with well.
So if you guys want to Skype Arnaud, you should do it at like 7 o'clock California time, PM. Okay, guys?
Not really.
Not really.
Well, you might find me online anyway.
I think that's 9 hours behind you right now.
That would be somewhere in the middle of the night for me.
Yeah, that'd be like 3 a.m.
Yeah, my wife won't be too happy, I'm afraid.
Oh, good. Thanks so much, Arnaud. We're making it a short one today. It's 2:07. We didn't even make it to 2:30 and past 2:30. So thank you so much for coming. Next week we have Mark Shaw with Stored Tech, and he is a Kaseya. I feel like he's almost a guru. He loves that system. He switched over to Kaseya earlier this year, and he's got around 40 or so employees, and they have 12 or 13,000 agents right now in Kaseya. They're looking to bring in another 23,000. So he's done a lot to automate, remediation and scripting and everything else. So I do look forward to having you guys there at next week's webinar. And I hope you all have a great week. Thanks so much for stopping by.
Thank you, Steve, for organizing all this. I'm really a fan of the way that you organize this and sharing the information together. Thanks for the option of doing this. There's one final thing that I forgot to mention. A question that we often get is there any support for Mac OS? I'm afraid there is not yet at the moment. There is a beta version for Android available on the Android market, but it's still in beta, so don't expect too much about that. That's my final words. Sorry for interrupting.
It's all good. It's
okay.
all good. All right, everybody.
Thanks very much.
Thanks so much. You all enjoy your week.